I feel like Rakim and Kane in particular
Right.
have found a real niche in the live performance
Right.
and the concert situation, and they're getting really good checks.
I think the money is cool. I just feel like I watched Keith Richards make an album last year. God Bless the Dead. I watched David Bowie make an album last year. There was a Megadeth record. There was a Led Zeppelin record. And I'm just looking at it like, okay, like, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Bowie or anybody, but we artists too, and we did that for our genre too. Just like Bowie did something for punk, you know what I'm saying, or Richard did something for rock, or Megadeth did something for metal. We did something for hip hop too. So I think that kind of contribution from us, for people who are diehard fans, it's got to be good records. I'm not saying make trash. I think that they would be. I don't think you can make them happier.
Yeah.
I think the concert does one thing, but there's no take-home material.
Right.
So you go to the concert, and then what you do, buy that album over that you bought in the 80s?
True.
You know what I'm saying? If there was some take-home material, it's just for our fans.
Right.
It's not. I'm not looking to affect the people that's buying Kendrick. They might not like me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just for our fans. But there's something to take home. There's something for them to now play in their car and play in their house instead of turning on the radio and having to listen to what their teenagers listening to.
Okay. Talk to me about being a pioneer as a hip hop band.
I think any pioneers in hip hop, for us, I don't even think we thought about it so much, right? So when you say pioneer hip hop band, it's like now I look back at it because they say hindsight is 2020. I say, oh yeah, we did that. Oh yeah, we did. Now I could actually create a lesson plan from the making of Stetsasonic.
Right.
But while I was doing it, all I knew was that we wanted to be different. I knew that everything we were doing in the studio, we didn't want to have problems duplicating it. At that time, Running Them was about the only group that was rich enough to get Jam Master Jay, God Bless the Dead, to get Europa Disc to make him blank plates to
Right,
play for the shows. We didn't have that kind of money. And, if you even check from our instrumentals back in the day, the way we used to try to put the instrumentals out just because we tried to think of our shows.
Right.
Nobody before was putting TV tracks on a wax to sell. Right. But we were doing that because we knew we wouldn't have the money to just get TV tracks made. So, Stetsasonic was all inclusive. There was a human percussionist there. There was DBC with all these drum machines and samplers and stuff. There was Bobby there drumming. There was Paul there DJing. It was like, yo, man, this is some cool sounds together. What we gonna do when we get on stage? And we thought about it and said, man, let's just take everything up there.
Right.
So that was kind of sort of the beginning of it. And then we just shaped it after that. We started studying Earth, Wind, and Fire, Mandrill, you know what I'm saying, War, you know what I'm saying, and Santana, and just trying to see Sly in them and trying to say, well, we want to be that for hip-hop. And that's basically what the aim always was.
How do you feel about the Roots? Now they've become sort of.
I mean, I love the Roots, and I've had conversations with Quest and Tariq, and they definitely give us like the ultimate amount of props.
Yeah.
So I love what the Roots are doing. Even with the Roots, I wish there was a little more records, a little bit more touring. I know that's a big gig that they got, but it would be nice to get some more music from them as well.
I think they're working on one, by the way.
Yeah, the group that I kind of miss is the original Black Eyed Peas, because the original Black Eyed Peas is a hip hop band. I seen them rock crazy, like with the DJ leading everybody, and then Homeboy is a little break dancer anyway. Like it was a full hip hop show. Like everybody they opened for Eminem, and I saw them open for Eminem in Miami. They blew everybody away. Nobody expected none of that.
Yeah.
And so I miss them. I miss the Fugees, the way Clef used to have them open up, because that was very hip-hop bandy. They would play break beats, and the band would play it, so I miss the Fugees that way.
What's funny is they used to have beef with the Roots back
Did
in the
they?
day. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm almost 100% sure.
Wow.
Because their shows were similar at the time.
Yeah.
And they were playing the same circuit.
Yeah, it's tough to fight.
Particular Philly, because I saw him in Philly.
Yeah, it's tough to fight with Quest.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Right,
Amir
right.
got it. Like, he got it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
he's born an MD.
Right,
Like, he
right.
woke up like, oh, which band do I tell what to do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to, musicianship, the Roots got it hands down.
Yeah.
It's very, I mean, this has been
Man, I just came from South by Southwest. I couldn't even get in their show. It was around the corner on one side and around the corner
That's
the
what it
VIP
is.
on the other side.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's crazy. So let's talk about 2016
Okay.
and the landscape of hip hop.
Okay.
Like I just said, I came from South by, saw a lot of good stuff. No,
Right.
I take that back. I saw some good stuff, a lot of trash.
Right.
Straight up, a lot of
Right.
trash. How do you feel about hip hop now as it's evolved?
I love hip hop, period, and I could put a period at the end of that sentence. I'm studied, so maybe that makes me a little weirder. Meaning I listen to Vinnie Paz, meaning I listen to Self-Titled or Apathy, right? So, or Esoteric. Shout out my man Eso and the Czarface group and all of that. So I'm looking at hip hop a lot broader than what's on the radio. And I often tell people, when people say it changed, I say, well, no, black radio changed. Hip hop didn't really change. Cats are still making records. Some people are doing some real dope stuff. It may not be in your radar, but that doesn't mean that it's not there. But the radio has changed, and I get that too, because this ain't radio's first time changing. Remember when disco came in, everybody was up in the air. Right. How you playing this stuff? You know, this Aretha stuff is around, this Patty stuff. So it happens over a period of time. Punk had the same issue. Some even need the what we call traditional American pop music, like the Adriana Grandes and stuff. They had a little rough time kind of slipping. They had to kind of come through on the dance side and then make records. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I understand radio. Radio's gonna change, and if that change is Fetty Wap and Young Thug, then that change is Fetty Wap and Young Thug. I don't think Fetty Wap and Young Thug are to the blame. They making what they make. Right. You know, if they was, ducks with 3 wings, and if people bought it, people bought it. So they're not to blame. You can't. I used to say this back in the day, right? Chuck D and I are good friends, and Public Enemy and Stetsasonic used to share a tour bus. And so often when you do interviews, people start asking you about Run DMC and all of them, and why they're not talking political, and why they're not red, black, and green. I said, look, man, if you see Chuck and he off his guard, you see Speech and he off his guard, you see me and I'm off my guard, then you need to get on my case. Because I done vowed to do this free South Africa self-destruction stuff. Leave Run alone. Yeah. And let him do his Hollis thing and stop bothering him. Because that ain't what he said he was going to do for you anyway. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I can't blame the guys on the radio for making what they make, because that's the expression of their art. Yep. Now get this. People can say whatever they want to say. Somebody liked it.
Yeah, and not for nothing, Run did Proud to Be Black, which was an anthem.
Exactly.
Last time I saw Run, I said, yo, Run, thank you for that record. Exactly. I didn't say nothing about Sucker
right.
I didn't say nothing about Raising Hell. I said that record.
Yeah.
And that was inspired by Chuck. Yeah. And you'll always hear, particularly DMC, always shout out
that's what's
Public Enemy. So I'm quite sure there was an inspiration there.
Yeah, so I think it's hip hop's fine, healthy. The radio's not as healthy, and I think that people need to move their focus instead of trying to make rap. I just did radio. I'm not gonna say no names, but I just did radio this whole weekend, and it kind of looked like people were moving out. I didn't do radio in a situation where I'm in a real plush place, and right. And that's the challenge of terrestrial radio, right? How do you keep something local really popping? And you're not a gospel station, or you're not a country station. How do you really do that? And that becomes difficult in a town like New York. Right. You know what I'm saying? One of the things I noticed about New Yorkers, when I got in my friends' cars here, which is totally different from where I live, is that all my friends had Sirius. Yeah. They all had Sirius subscriptions. Definitely. That ain't no nationwide thing. Right. That's certain cities. You know what I'm saying? So there's something that's got to be done. So you know what I'm saying? But the face of radio has changed. I think hip-hop is fine. I just would like to see, my guys, my generation just make more music.
But I got to say, man, everybody ain't ready to do a record this year.
You're probably right. I mean, you're probably right. I don't know. Part of the A&R in me kicks in, right? So I've A&R'd a ton of records, and I've seen the process like over and over, right? And I realized that some people are different. Yeah. Like some people, you just stick them in a room with like 4 players, a keyboard player, bass player, lead guitar player, and a drummer, and just let them just keep going through grooves.
Right.
And even if the guy ain't interested, let him order in food, do whatever he want to do, but they constantly playing grooves behind him.
Right.
Something gonna stick, he gonna stop. There's a recorder there. It ain't got to be fancy.
Right.
Just enough to get the melody of what it is he want to do. And you know what I'm saying? Everybody's process of creation is different. And I think what happens with a lot of these dudes, man, is they get discouraged. And then if you have discouraging things around you, then of course it's the mic and writing and a legal pad, which is how I write my stuff down, is gonna be the last thing from your mind.
Right. Okay. Now all right. Nah, I'm gonna save something.
Go ahead.
All right. So let's talk about the political landscape of hip hop now.
Okay.
Now you guys went real hard back
Right.
in the day,
Right.
particularly around the issue of South Africa
Right.
and apartheid.
Yeah.
But in general, it was a whole
Yeah.
movement.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're kind of I think we're full circle now because there are some people jumping on the trend.
Right.
So it's full circle when
Right.
people start jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah, it's true.
But talk about the political aspect of hip hop now and as it relates to, the late 80s and the 90s as well.
See, I think with us, I'm not going to say it was easier because that would probably be unfair. But I think with us, it may have been an easier task, so to speak, for us because we didn't expect but X amount of airplay, but X amount of popularity anyway. So everything kind of went along with the entire territory of what we did. We weren't indifferent about what we were to lose if we were to speak up. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, oh, man, we speak up on that, we're going to lose our deal.
Right.
Oh, man, if we speak up on that, we're going to lose our endorsement. It wasn't none of that. Everything we spoke and everything we did is pretty much one and the same. Whereas nowadays, there's a little gap in there. It's not even a rule in hip hop anymore to be original. And, sometimes even sounding like somebody get you seen as dope or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So there's artists all over the planet now that sound a lot alike, and the people who know them both and like them both know the difference.
Right.
I don't, but they do.
Yeah.
So I think it's popular in hip hop nowadays to do things like copy other people, be like other people, sound like other people. And so that, I think, disconnects them what might be really going on in their life.
Okay.
Because very honestly, they may possibly be rapping about a life that ain't theirs.
Yeah, right.
And so I think that's the largest. The reason it was easy for all of us to come together and do self-destruction, we all got affected by that.
Yeah, right.
From the heavy D's to whoever, we all got affected by somebody saying, yo, y'all making people kill each other.
Right.
And it was like, hold up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No.
Yeah.
And so everybody, Heavy, Just Ice, everybody was like, yeah, let's talk about this.
Right.
Let's get this popping. Nowadays it's a little different because you don't really know from a guy's records where he stand. He might say one thing in his record and be a totally different guy.
Yeah.
So and it's not, the thing is, it's not taboo. I'm not gonna say, oh, that's an original rule of hip hop. I'm not at that. Mel could say that. He's got the right to say that. I came in second generation, so I don't have the right to change that rule.
Yeah.
I am in the middle of looking at it, though.
Yeah, right.